You damn done did it, YouTube. You damn done did it. How are you doing? I just finished Gwen Pool. I hate Gwen Pool. More for the era of comics she symbolizes, and the way this story ends. I'm not gonna retell the story. Yeah, that's a real tear. That is a real ass tear. Okay. I hate Gwen Pool. I also had peppers. Fuck y'all. But, I do hate Gwen Pool. This is why. Gwen Pool is a very, very bad story and then sad story. Gwen Pool's story is literally like, oh no, you're gonna become this evil villain. Ha 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 ha. Either that or you're not gonna exist in comics. She doesn't. Long and short of it. TLDR, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Gwen Pool. If you've seen Gwen Pool, I'd say skip to about 1 minute. No, you're not gonna be. You're gonna be wanting to skip to like 5 minutes and skip to 5:20. If I'm done before then, go back to 3:20 and see where I'm at. If I'm spoiling everything still there, just. Gwen Pool, normal Earthling, arrives on Earth. No superpowers at all. Just gonna start there. We're just gonna hang that up there. Has no superpowers. Her powers include knowing everything in comics and later become reality warping. And so, reality warping. What do you do with that? It's just a thing she has. Reality warpers either die or just you end their comic, and her comic got ended, and good job, Marvel. Not just the feminist era of Marvel and the SJW era of Marvel, but I also don't like the Marvel Now era of Marvel in general, and that's kind of a lot of what she was about and led into. I mean, she's just a symbol of everything that Marvel did as a mistake, if you were to ask me. Thinking that Marvel ever made a mistake, you might discount me as a true fan, but I think the mistakes with Gwen Pool include things like her having no uses and going to being the most useful and overpowered person in all of Marvel. Like, we're talking some, like, unheard of Brie Larson levelry, and we're talking, like, you know how Brie Larson tries to matter? Gwen Pool actually does matter. That's the difference. The interesting thing with Gwen Pool is that she does make a significant impact in a comic book character's life, whether it's showing them the other side of their values, like Miles Morales came back from the future and was ready to kill. And he's like, do you understand how big of a thing this is for me? And, like, totally not going to be done with the spoiler at 3:20. And, like, she couldn't grasp it. She's not from there. She thinks of them all just as characters. She wasn't looking at them she wasn't looking at them as people. There was a message in the story. It was okay. I give it like 5 out of 10 as a comic, just because there are better stories that have the same message about not seeing people as people. Thanos is our what? Did anybody ever say that Thanos ever went from, like, seeing people as people to not? Because I remember a conversation he had with Lady Death about killing Adam Warlock. If you remembered that, give me a comment about that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he made a remark about valuing Adam Warlock's life before not killing him. Spoiler. But, so... Alright, basically, Marvel characters grow hearts. There's better stories about Marvel characters growing their hearts. Gwen Pool's kind of flat and boring as a character. Like, not in her first appearance. She's, like, way not flat there. But, like, you get me. I'm here, like, but she is kind of like a flatter version of Deadpool's personality. Take all the wild stuff about Deadpool, make it a chick, and then remove the voice of chaos and all this stuff, the possibility that he might be Dormammu's kid, which I think is just highly disproven, but it's just a funny fan theory to throw out there. But you can't even throw that out there with Gwen Poole because she doesn't have that linkage to the Marvel Universe. Like, she's not that intimately connected. I think Doctor Strange actually gave her powers. Personally, that's my belief, is when Doctor Strange ported her into the Marvel world and like moved her birth into the Marvel world, I think Doctor Strange actually activated what gave her powers, the ability to reality warp. So we're still not done with this spoiler if you skip to 520. If you are here, I am sorry, spoiler alert, keep going. Go check out 620, go see where, go check out 720, see where I'm at there. Doctor Strange moves her birth at the beginning of her series. Okay, that was stupid. That should never have been a necessity for the series. What I would have done with that, instead of just having Doctor Strange magically move her birth over, I would have had him, like, create a duplicate magically who maybe died tragically yesterday. Doctor Strange. And I would have had him do that or something along those lines, like have a magical duplicate that she could just replace. Like, oh, her family's here, and it would have made explaining her brother being there easier, and maybe her brother having his consciousness comes in, and that would have been a, like, 1-2 story arc. It wouldn't have been very long to explain that her brother came here and had his consciousness. Oh shit, everybody else got a mind wipe, but the brother somehow slipped through the system. Happens all the time in Marvel. And if we would have done that, we would have actually, like, if they would have done that, sorry, if we, pardon me, Marvel, I don't speak for you, I'm just a disappointed fan as the age of, like, 15, like, I'm 25 now for the last 10 years. Everything but your movies really have let me down, and I haven't even watched Captain Marvel, I refuse. I didn't watch Ant-Man and Wasp because I've heard it was boring, but I don't know, I think I'm gonna check it out, though, anyway. Did check out that Black Panther, and that was a decent movie. It would have been better if you didn't have SJWs pandering it and if you would have shut that down, but that's just me. Okay, so still not done with this spoiler. If you came here, go further into the future, like 10 minutes, and then we'll go over everything I would have done better with this comic, I promise. Okay, but yeah, there's a million ways to fix her not being born in the Marvel Universe, and just magically creating an identity shouldn't be that hard. Also, keeping MODOK unaware of that should not be that hard. Damn it, Marvel. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, so, with that, what they could have done... Okay, like, moving on with Gwen Poole's story. Let's move back to the future, where Miles Morales told her all the crazy stuff about, oh, this is against me and my morality. A whole group of people have traveled back from the past to stop her from becoming her future version, because her future version is terrifying. She just shows up as a giant, like, 40 feet tall, smacks Miles Morales and almost kills him. She can't unwrite the rules of the comics, she can just fuck with them. So she starts releasing everybody's superhero identities, she starts releasing everybody's everything. Like, if you want to know it, you get to know it. You are now privy to this information. She told the world Miles Morales' identity, his whole family gets exterminated. What do you do about that? You become probably a little warped in the head anyway, but yeah, he's totally ready to kill. So she finds out her long and short of her story is for her to become a villain or just not have her story run any further. Well, along that path, she finds a future version of herself who's good, and she's been alive for, like, ever. And she's like, hey, yeah, what's up, blah, 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 our story's not over. And then after, like, this, like, after, like, some 80 years go by, she goes back and tells herself the same thing she told herself, and it's just a crazy story. But okay, fixing it. Beginning problem. Problem number 1. Doctor Strange didn't need to move her birth over. He could have created a magical clone of her. So if you're ever going to reboot this series, seriously think about that. Create a magical clone. Wasn't very popular. The Clone Saga of Spider-Man could be revisited, and you could definitely pull a Gwen Pool out of there. Just if you ever revisit that in the future. I know it was like a terrible series, but like, if you ever fix it, make it better and canon again, bring Gwen Pool out of that. That would be cool. But, like, with Gwen Poole, you definitely went wrong with her origin having to be moved, her being just a standard comic reader. It would have been better if she was a comic reader, and when the Nexus happened, she knew where it was going to be because she's read comics, so she knew where it was going to appear on Earth, on our Earth. Like, it was just written in the comics, and so it does. And then, like, yeah, that would be really, 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 really awesome. That is not what happened. She just got pulled in, and that's cool, I guess. But, like, it would have been better if she had a better reason to be there. If from the get, like, a voice had told her, hey, you're going on a journey or something, and never explained anything, it would have given us a lot to look forward to. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot to look forward to. But instead we got, am I a bad guy? I don't know. But so fixing her identity crisis with not having an identity and being payable. Okay, that's a multiverse issue. I'm sure you got multiverse identities, like you pick one and still his bank card. Okay, second, I did not like how long the bank thing took to resolve. I did not like how it, like, didn't resolve for, like, a week? The day, just have it fixed in a day so she can get paid. And then have information about her slowly filter in with MODOK while Doctor Strange is performing said ritual. Like, where you went wrong there was, like, it all just popped up at once. You don't go from being a ghost to having all... You could have made her look like she was in, like, witness protection. That would have explained her being ghosted in the system to anyone looking for her at that moment. So, okay. Those mistakes covered. I think a really big mistake was introducing Evil Gwen in the Future Squad. I think that it would have been better to have Evil Gwen and Good Gwen have a fight for who would have reigned supreme. And it would have been cool because it would have been a reality warping, page hopping, like they both would have just been showing up through a panel as giants. All you can see is their arm or their leg, and then the next panel they're super tiny, just flying through it. And then just like, it would be really cool. It would have been an awesome fight. We got Gwen who becomes good versus Evil Gwen who erases Evil Gwen by telling her I'll never be you, and that was a cool ending, but it would have been cooler with a sword and with a sword and with I'll never be you, and then just see her slowly fading out so it's not like Gwen Pool killed her. I get where you were going with a lot of this Gwen Pool can't affect the Marvel Universe stuff, and you were going in the direction of she can't really kill anyone. Yeah, that's a necessary change. I think it took away from her own value. Her own character struggled with it. It was a thing that devalued her. She made no permanent impacts until she decided ultimately to be good, and that's just stupid. That is just stupid, Marvel. Think with your head. She had no evil future. You should totally run 2 publications, an Evil Gwen series and a Good Gwen series, and like one where she's devastated Marvel. She's got the Infinity Gauntlet. She's not even using it. She's just laughing at it like, and she's just like, oh yeah, my voice does the thing Black Adams does now. Ha ha! And the Gauntlet's just disseminating the laugh, like, just not phased. You guys got to do something really big with her if you want her to be a popular. I felt the reach, because, like, the end of her story, I'm not gonna lie, I got choked up. I got teared up, because, like, she gave herself a really good little life lesson, and it was cool. But at the same time, there were so many problems getting into the story that I actually zoned out most of the story. Had to go back multiple times and actually go back through it. But what I did find interesting in the story was that it actually had a lot of compelling elements to it. And I think if you would have used more of those, like Gwen Poole's identity crisis, her family crisis, looking for her brother, I think you would have made a much better, compelling comic and argument for her to be good. There was no reason for her to be good, knowing that her pages would have gone on 200 extra pages. Like, she would have seen more. She would have known more, would have done more. There was no reason not to, because you would have just literally had a time loop effect where she just erases herself at that point. But, okay, so you didn't do that. The ending is a loop, and I hate looped endings because they have to have a starting point if they don't. Is this Gwen Alpha, or is the other Gwen Alpha? Who's Gwen Alpha? Who kicked off the chain? Who started it all? I hate that part of all of that. And that's we're not even going into that. We're not going to get into it. It's a writer's dilemma. They wrote themselves into too many corners with Gwen Poole. They needed a convenient way to write out Gwen Poole, and I respect that. They didn't use her reality warping power to, like, reality destroying bomb, and she had to use all of her powers to stop it. Okay. They didn't destroy her narrative. What they did do is they destroyed her instead as a potential character by not allowing her to even have or experience the evil future, and trying to keep her as popular and good in the eyes of the fans as they could. Mixed feelings, because why would I enjoy a character whose only purpose is to be Deadpool with more knowledge? Deadpool not having the knowledge is what's fun. So, like, maybe you port this character in again, and you port her in through a comic, but when you do it, erase her knowledge of the real world, and erase her knowledge of how many comics she's read until she meets the character. Like, she just starts spouting off stuff about Peter Parker when she meets Spider-Man. Oh my god, you look just like fucking... And then just like, oh, where did that come from? And, like, have it be her subconscious. Instead of, like, how Deadpool hears the voices, have her voice be her subconscious. You guys really did good with the story and making her see why she should be good, but there was no compelling reason, really. Ultimately, knowing it didn't change anything for her to be good. You removed all of the reason and all of the intent of what being good had for her, because she had 14 pages by the time she gets this watch that tells her how many pages she has. Kind of nuts. But, like, she's not gonna be in too many video games. Like, what is she gonna port over to Super Smash Bros? I doubt that. No, she's not that popular of a character. That'd be cool if they give us Sora. Sakura, give us Sora. Sakura, give us Sora. But, yeah, I'm also a nerd, guys. I talk politically, but I also prefer to talk about comics and video games, so there'll be some of that here. This might just be a lifestyle general channel, just kind of whatever. Fuck it. I mean, I don't really have a particular idea in mind. I mean, I have a gaming channel that I don't use a lot of. And, yeah. These are just my thoughts on Gwen Poole and my takes on her and what I would do different. So, I mean, it's just Gwen Poole had a lot going for her, and I would bring her back. I would redo her. I would totally give her another shot. I'd bring back older Gwen Poole for starters. Have it be like a 23-year-old who just is obsessed with comics. Like, absolutely working in a comic store late one night when suddenly lightning hits her comic, and she thinks it's fried, and it's just now got a glowy energy field. Bitch, it ain't fried, it's just... You're in it now. That'd be cool, okay? Powers of some strange Marvel god just is like, hey, I need you. She gets memory wipe, all of her comic knowledge goes away, except, like I said, until she meets the characters, and then it starts coming back. This gives her a purpose in wanting to go back to the real world. It gives her a reason for wanting to go back to the real world, and a necessity for going back to the real world. Bear this all in mind. Okay, so, the reason it gives her a need is, okay, she's now in a strange, unfamiliar land where she is completely useless. You never have to give her reality warping powers at this point to move the story forward. She needs to go home. She's not cut for this world. She starts to learn this after Batroc trains her. That was beautiful, by the way. That was beautiful. So Batroc trains her. And she starts to realize, wow, I'm really not cut out for just even this kind of training. I need to get home. What is home? Where is home? This leads to, why do I need to go back home? She starts remembering her family, but her family's here. So there's a weird thing. So her brother's starting to remember too. And all of a sudden his memories are coming back. And he finds out he has powers. Boom. Now there's a conflict. He doesn't want to leave. She does. Boom. And then mom and dad are stuck there while they're having this feud. So they're just actually in the middle of a feud between their kids. This would be awesome. I'm not saying do this exactly. If you do, I'm totally stealing royalties. I'm totally drawing most of the art. And I'm totally writing most of the story. And I'm totally taking 75% of the fucking money. I'll totally give up a quarter to everybody else who vote. Just kidding, no. But I think that this Gwen Poole story would be more compelling. It gives her a why she needs to go home, and it adds a conflict right in the middle of the why I need to go home. Her brother gets some reality warping power too, and he can, like, walk in maybe the same place. Well, it would have been okay. The way to tie her power to Deadpool's in some way, or to make it some variant or something, if she had just encountered Deadpool walking in her little crazy space, and Deadpool's just like, la-di-da, I don't know where I am. But I could leave whenever I want, but I don't want to go. So here I am. Like, Deadpool. That's simple. And he's there. Because, like, Doctor Doom could manipulate it. Both versions of Doctor Doom could manipulate it, the good and evil, so... keeping this video under 20 minutes? Not today. So, with Gwen Poole, she just doesn't really have a compelling reason to fight to go home. And when she goes home would be the next issue, I think, and how. When and how. I think it would be cool to keep her there in the comics since she wants to experience that for, like, 5 years in, like, the comic books time, which is, like, anywhere from 1 to 2 years our time. So she can actually, like, go back and experience her life. But, like, she stays and does, like, really good things, helps everyone out, maybe just finds she does have reality-bending powers and is able to turn the page back and forward. That's really cool. That's exactly what we need. We need to see more of that. We need to see, like... we need to see her reality power exploited. How she told Batroc she couldn't do anything until she saw inside. Would have been awesome if she would have looted it as they were putting the gold in it. Like, if she could have jumped to an earlier panel where people were putting the gold in it and just looted it then. That would have been amazing. That would have been a cool use of her power, too. Okay, let's see. I think we've covered all the bases on Gwen Poole, guys. Except how and when she gets home. So, wrapping this up under 30 minutes. How she's gonna get home. We wrapped up the win is about 5 years, 5 to 10 years, so... 2 to 4 years in reality have passed, so she'll probably magically take that age on back. Her purpose could be something like fixing the Marvel world and helping, and so she achieves this. Teaches Miles Morales a reason to be a hero instead of haphazardly destroying her way through the Marvel universe like her name was just Deadpool's child. Let's see what else we could do with Gwen Poole, how we could get her home. She fixes the problems, the voice at the beginning that pulls her into the comics, and just magical powers just start swirling around her, and suddenly she's home. She defeats her brother and drags him back with her, and, like, it connects the pieces that didn't want to reunite, and all the stuff, all the pages come together, and she's back home, out of her own comic, which is, by the way, like a freaking solid book. The book she fell into no longer exists, and what she flew out of is, like, a Bible thick. And just printed page of her journeys. And she now gets to read about that. Or if she already read about it because she experienced it, you know, she now understands that her story as it was happening was just growing. Which is cool. I think that would have been a way cooler ending. Sorry, maybe. Maybe I'm just too shallow to admit that I think I could have done Gwen Poole better. Sorry, it would have been a very similar ending, just minus the time loop, and stupid. I would have also not ended the story there. I would have also had printing with the good and bad. That would have been the how and when. So this one wanted to go home and squared off with her brother and got her way. Came back maybe 2 years later and was good Poole. Gwen Poole the good. And, like... Then there's the other one, who squared off with her brother, got dragged home, and came back 2 years later to terrorize the universe. How hard is that? Run 2 publications of her. It would be cool. I mean, she wasn't popular. You'd have to rerun the original series. Update it, fix it, bring it back. And then after you reboot her, run 2 publications. That is a really cool story, guys. You didn't need to do this to her. So you, like, made her a non-compelling character, I guess. But give me your comments. Give me your ideas in the comments. I'm gonna upload this, and y'all have a good day.